Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Brittany Sourjohn, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, and I work in the Office of University Events and Protocol. We're so glad you're here with us to experience the new Aventri platform. I want to just point out that we are in a new platform and we're not in our typical Zoom space, which is very exciting. Just a few quick announcements before we begin. We do have the questions that were submitted through the RSVP site, and we will go over those at the end of this presentation. We ask that you save the date, Wednesday, December 2nd at 10 a.m. We will have Jeff Rensel and Victor Hamburger with us for a presentation. Also, Thursday, December 10th at 11 a.m., we will be having some holiday fun, so stay tuned for more information. Today, we have Steve McGillivray and Laura Rutherford with us. They are both colleagues of mine within the Office of University Events and Protocol, and we're so happy that they're here. They will be discussing what's new with Aventri. I also have my colleague Terry Candelaria. She is co-hosting, and we will be monitoring the questions that come in. So again, we have the questions that were submitted, but if other questions come up, we will be monitoring those and addressing them at the end of the presentation. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Steve and Laura. Again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to present to the group, and we're very excited to learn what's new with Aventri.
All right, thank you, Brittany. Good morning, everyone. Yes, we're very excited to show this new platform. We thought the best way to show it would be to actually bring you into the Aventri platform. When you logged in, you came into the Aventri virtual lobby, which shows the schedule for today. There are a couple of different ways to have a meeting or presentation in Aventri. We are currently in presentation mode, and in an hour, we're going to start the meeting mode, and we give you that chance to experience both these different sessions. We're going to save details, the bulk of details on this new platform till the end, but I do want to do a little bit of housekeeping on how the system works while we're doing this presentation. So all participants entered in a listen-only mode. You will not be able to talk to us on your microphone, but you can ask us questions anytime during the session by using the Ask a Question feature. You can also rate the session and find out more information. You can close this view simply by clicking on the caret icon in the top of the corner of that left bar. So how this works: to ask a question, just have your Live Now screen open, click on Questions, and then type your question in the blank box and hit Send. You can do this anytime during the presentation. You can also rate a session by having your Live Now screen open, click on Ratings and Reviews, and enter the stars or leave a review. Now, during the presentation, we're also going to be showing some videos. If your player does not start the video, you will have to click the play button. And I'll try to remind you that as we go through. We have a lot to cover today. We're going to talk about the new features that we are presenting in the ASU template version 3. We'll be chatting a bit about the Salesforce integrations we have available, touching on the mobile app. We're going to give you a preview of the new event emails that Aventri has developed for the platform. And then the bulk of our program will be about the virtual event platform. Ending with a Q&A, and then we'll move on to meeting where we can have more of an interactive chat. So first off, hang on. Let's see about the ASU template version 3. All units will find the latest ASU templates in their 01 ASU brand templates folder. Click on the folder. You'll see we left the previous version 2.4. If you'd like to use that, you may. But we've also included the version 3 template. Here are some of the new features in the template. First off, we land on the overview page. At the bottom of this page, we have created some custom ASU fields that can be used as merge codes. The primary use of these merge codes are in your event emails. In the new design of the event emails, the footer now contains these, and here's where those merge codes appear. So all of the emails in our event emails template now has this new footer, so there's one place where you can update all these merge codes provided in these emails, and you're welcome to use these merge codes throughout your site. Next, the big change in version 3 is a new look and feel. We'll no longer have an ASU template shown here under look and feel. Now we have this new feature called Theme Editor. The Theme Editor will provide a much more dynamic look to your site. So first, let's talk a little about navigation when you're in the Theme Editor. This is your preview screen, and you can see the results of any of your changes on this page simply by clicking on the pull-down menu and going to a different part of your registration. Similar to Preview Event, you can also see it based on different categories if you have different categories. Over on the right are some ways that you can change what you see in the theme editor. Under the themes section, we have a section for layouts that you can adjust how your events fields look on the screen. If you want to save your changes, you need to click the Save button. If you want to discard your changes, just simply click Reset. Below that are color schemes and page background combinations that have been provided by Aventri, which you are free to use, but we have designed some ASU branded themes for you to use. All of these themes are formatted the same as far as fields and formatting of text. The only difference is the background image. To change the background image to any of these, simply select the theme and the background will change. If you would like to use your own background image, you can. To change the background image, you go under the background section, and here you have some adjustments you can make. If you want to choose a different background image, you want to click Choose File, and then go into your unit folder. If you have the image already in the database, you can select it here. If not, you can click the Upload New Image and upload a new image to your unit folder. Now that I've selected a new background image, I want to save, but I also have the option of having no image at all using a simple solid color background, or if I'd like, I can add a gradient background. If I want to change the header logo, say into my endorsed brand, I do that under the header logo section, and here you do not want to use the drag and drop feature here. That will put the image someplace you will never see it again. You want to click on the select image from your database and again click into your unit folder. Again, if you have images here that you'd like to use, simply go and find them. If not, this is the one place you can drag and drop and get them into your unit folder. I have my logo here, and I'm going to select it, and I'm going to save. If you're interested in some of the more advanced features, which include being able to customize the colors or fonts or font sizes of the template, I want to refer you to the Aventri support doc called Responsive Look and Feel Templates. And then the final new feature that you will be seeing is the new HTML content editor. Today we bid a fond farewell to the old version of the HTML editor. The HTML editor is available for any field that allowed you to edit in HTML.
This is the old one, and the new improved HTML content editor looks like this. They have simplified the toolbar and moved some features around. So I just want to go through where all your favorite features are now located in the new HTML content editor.
First are the link and unlink buttons here. To create a link, highlight your text, click the link button, and then type in your URL. And click OK. The ability to upload documents and create a link in an HTML field has been moved to this new links button. To do that, you click in your field where you would like the link to the document to be, click the links button, use the browse server to locate your document. Go into your unit folder. If you have already uploaded your document, it will be in this list. Otherwise, you could use the Upload New Document button to locate the file on your computer and upload to the Aventri servers. Now this has created a link, and here's the URL for that link. But I'd like some text to display, otherwise the URL will display. And then click OK. Next, the Insert Image button allows users to upload images into the unit folder and also insert into any HTML field. Again, place your cursor where you would like the image to be, click Insert, and then click Browse Server. Go into your unit folder, and if you have not already uploaded the image, you can again use the Upload New Image button to locate the image on your computer and upload to the Aventri server. If you would like to use the Aventri merge codes, you can find that here. If you click on the Merge Fields button, you can locate your merge codes if you know what section it is. Is it an event detail? Is it information about your attendee? Simply locate it, click the button, and the link will be inserted for the merge code. Aventri comes with a number of pre-formatted styles for headings and paragraphs that you are free to use. Simply highlight your text, select the format, and you're good to go. Once more, we'd just like to caution you on what's going to happen if you copy and paste text from outside of Aventri. For example, if you've created text in Microsoft Word, here I have some sample text which I have messed with. I'm going to copy it all and paste it into my example here. And as you can see, all the formatting from the Word doc came over with the paste. If I continue to write here, I may still have this formatting, and that's not what I want. To clean this up, you can use Remove Format. Highlight your text, click the button, all that word formatting has been cleared away.
One other trick for pasting text without formatting. Aventri used to have tools that allowed you to do that. They have removed those tools, but if you're in the Chrome browser, there's one other way of pasting without formatting, and that's to use a keyboard shortcut. And you can use Control-Shift-V on Windows or Command-Shift-V on Macs and paste your text without any formatting. After we finished our last recording, we actually found a few other features and functions we thought should be pointed out. One is the ability to resize an image. You could always size the image on import by changing the width or height, and it would automatically configure now in the placement of the image. However, you can also now resize directly in your emails simply by clicking on the lower right-hand corner, and you can now resize live inside the new HTML content editor. Another feature of the new HTML content editor you'll find especially useful in your event emails, and that is the preview button, where you can see what your field, or in this case, what your entire email looks like before you send.
Lastly, the Save and Exit button has been moved from the toolbar, and now at the bottom you have this Update and Exit.
One note about the changeover from the old editor to the new editor is that your old event registrations will continue to show the old HTML editor, but there is a way for you to change to the new. Simply go to the Advanced Settings, General Settings, and at the bottom of the screen you'll see a way to turn on the new HTML editor. Click the checkbox, save and stay, and now your event will be using the new HTML content editor.
Okay, and the new custom event fields are available now. The theme editor is available now, and the new HTML content editor will be going live later this afternoon. Next up, I want to talk about some other functions and features we have, starting with Salesforce. We get a lot of questions about using Salesforce with Aventri, and we do have a couple of options. We have created 2 event templates for you to use that integrate with Salesforce. There's the gold template, and that's for tracking contacts who already exist in Salesforce. So someone registers for the event, and a new event participation record is recorded in Salesforce. The event is held as a campaign in Salesforce, and the event participation record is held as a campaign member in Salesforce. Now, both of our templates connect with the ASU Salesforce Enterprise org instance. The attendees who are submitting the registration for your event must already exist in Salesforce as a requirement of the gold template, and the contact is matched by a first name and email, and both must be exact. The maroon template's a little more sophisticated. Primarily, well, it's not primarily, it is for undergraduate recruitment events, and the attendee does not have to be inside Salesforce already. Again, it connects only to the ASU Salesforce Enterprise org, and due to its complexity in integrating some features of Aventri, event registration may not be available. You want to know more about the Salesforce templates. The way it works is go to our website, go to the Using Aventri with Salesforce page in our user guide, and it will give you both the user guide instruction booklets for either template. The process is you go to ServiceNow and request the original templates from us. Then you can clone those templates and create your event. And at a certain point, you will come back and ask for the final programming of the integration from the Aventri account admins, Laura and I. And after that, you can start your registration system, and it will connect. You will need to contact us every time you create a new event registration from a template or from a previous Salesforce integration. Okay? Just wanted to chat a bit about mobile apps. We have a great mobile app platform connected to Aventri, and we tell people the mobile apps are to enhance the event experience. And even now in these new times, mobile apps can definitely serve a purpose. what we have available right now is the ASU Special Events app. So your event could be hosted in the ASU Special Events app. This allows your attendees to download one app for many events that are hosted here on our app. We hosted both private and public events. So public were open door. We've done some building openings with that, or private events where people have to log in through a login screen to have access. You can host current, future, and past events. Your event app can stay on this platform for as long as you like, so your attendees can still go back and get the information, or you can continue to add information and send them back to the mobile app. The app is connected to your Aventri event registration, and it can be used either on a phone or a tablet. There are lots of different features available on the app. You can have a schedule of events. You can provide speaker invitation, just like now in some of these modules you see on the left are actually part of the mobile app platform. You can rate and review sessions or speakers. You can have modules that promote your sponsors or exhibitors. You can exhibit banner ads and full screen ads, have people share, and there are even a few fun games to interact with people. General development timeline is we suggest you start developing with us about 3 months before the event. We can start earlier than that. It gives you more time to experience the platform, test features, but you also can be in a shorter time frame. Really, we say 3 months, so you have 2 months of development and then go live a month before the event so that then you can promote the app to your audience. You'll be working with the Aventri account admins here at ASU the whole time. We just do development meetings about every 2 weeks. You will have homework. We'll have homework. We get back together as we develop. You will also be working in a dev environment of the mobile app. We'll give you a special app so that you can see your work in progress before the app goes live for your audience. The mobile app does have an additional charge to be on the ASU Special Events app. Is $750 per event registration it's tied to. Okay, and we just ask for payment before the live date. So we could go into development. You could try and test features, and if you find that it's just too much for your team, we can pull the plug in development, no harm, no foul, and there'll be no charges. So if you'd like to have more information about mobile apps, you want to talk about what's possible, please feel free to send us an email at aventri@asu.edu, or you can also request more information, again, through ServiceNow. And here's that quick link to the ServiceNow catalog item, links.asu.edu/Aventri. Okay, next up, get to see a preview of coming attractions.
Welcome to this preview of the new Event Emails tab for event registrations. The first thing you'll notice is a change in the interface. All the triggered emails, confirmation, incomplete, updates, and such are still in the system emails for event registrants. A few new features are the ability to do a search for that email. So if you have a long list, you can enter the email subject and find your emails. You can also search by email type based on that trigger. Well, one thing you don't see here is custom emails. If you remember, custom emails are what we use to send out email blasts, and those are now shown in the scheduled emails section. You can create all of your custom emails here, and there are lots of bells and whistles added to both the triggered emails and to the custom emails. Let me go into a custom email and show you some of those bells and whistles. Again, a new interface for email design. You'll notice now we have a tabbed interface with 3 tabs: details and content, recipients, and schedule. You will only see the schedule tab when you're in the scheduled emails. But the other emails, the triggered emails, will have a details and content tab and the recipients tab. The general details are where you enter your email address and unit address and enter your subject line. But down here is the new email content editor to make it easier for you to create an HTML email. You have the option of 2 graphic areas built into the system, and it's just for graphics. Our ASU template, of course, will include the ASU logo, but if you don't want that logo, you can simply check on it and delete it and enter your own. Notice how these fields also provide you exactly what size image you should upload. And although it says drag and drop, in Aventri, for ASU users, you should never use the drag and drop feature. If you can avoid it, you should always select your files so that you can locate them inside your unit folder. Then the next field below the 2 graphic fields are the text fields. And as soon as you click into the text box, you get the new HTML content editor. You can customize your message here. You can use merge codes by either using the merge code button in the toolbar or by opening the merge code fields, finding the merge code you need and copying and pasting into your email. Some other features that Aventri provides is a way to now preview your email. So while you're designing, you can get a look at what this email will look like without sending a test email or before you send a test email. And of course, you can send a test email. Once your email is ready, you can save your email. After you've saved it, you're able to go into the Recipients tab and choose who you want to send with. And here are also some additional features I think you're going to like. It gives you a number of how many people from your event are going to receive this email. It still has the standard registrations type, category selection. So if you just want to send email blasts to certain categories, you can, or based on their registration status. But now, Aventri has added these new ways of sending an email blast. You will be able to send an email to people who've signed up for your sessions, whether they have registered or not, and whether they have attended or not. You'll also be able to send an email based on an options which you set in the options merchandise section. So for example, if your event has the option of purchasing a t-shirt, you can then email those attendees when their t-shirt is ready for pickup. And lastly, you can send an email based on the response to a question asked in the attendee info question section. Here I have an email prepared to go to anyone who has said yes to the ASU alumni question. Once that's set, you're ready to schedule your email blast, and here is one more new bell and whistle I think you'll like. You can still send the email on a specific date, but now you can also schedule your emails based on relative event dates. What do I mean by that? I mean any number of hours, days, or weeks, either before or after an event start date, an event end date, or registration close date. All these features are available in the upcoming new event email section, coming in early 2021. Yeah, that's a feature that Laura and I ask the Aventri account admins, when are we going to get that? When are we going to get that? We are ready like now. Okay, now we want to talk about the new virtual platform. We're going to show you a video that demonstrates the whole system, but before we get into that, I want to just chat about a couple of terms that and concepts that you will see in the video.
We would like you to learn that the flexibility of this platform and how you can customize it for your own event experience. We want you to learn the difference between the collaborative meeting mode and what we're in now, which is the presentation mode, and what those features are both for you and for your participants. You're going to see how you can manage the virtual events within Aventri and how your presenters can interact with the platform. And the rest is just propaganda. Okay. So the Aventri built-in platform offers two different modes, as we said, presentation mode and meeting mode. So presentation mode, think in terms of it being a webinar. We're going to have up to 5,000 participants. It's really for one-way delivery of content, whether it's a live presentation like this or it's recorded as you've seen. You can upload presentations. You can share your screen. You can do a broadcast live feed with a webcam and mic. There are options for adding live polling and doing a Q&A. There are whiteboard features, which you're not seeing, but as a presenter and a host, you can. There is no chat and there are no user settings. Meeting mode is for more interactivity. This is more like a Zoom meeting, where there's two-way interactivity, there's a chat, there's a user list, there's a whiteboard you can share, and the attendees can share audio and video. Again, there's live polling and Q&A available. And the meeting mode is recommended to be up to 250 concurrent participants, but this is a soft number. What do we mean by concurrent participants? Well, that means you may have 5 breakout meetings that have 50 people each, or 2 concurrent meetings with 100 each. And again, this is just a recommended limit. If it goes above that, we need to let Aventri know just to make sure the system is okay with that. One note is that it's recommended that you don't have more than 15 webcams live in the meeting mode. Otherwise, that can degrade performance. There also is a way to integrate with third-party video conferencing companies. If you do that in the Aventri registration, you still have access to the virtual lobby. In fact, when we go back to the lobby, you'll see there's a third link for that kind of setup. It just provides a link to whatever platform that is, whether it's Zoom, GoToMeeting. If the platform gives you, as the coordinator, a link for the meeting, a link for the host, you can include both. But basically, you do the setup and the running still in that third-party platform. You're just putting the links to that third-party platform in Aventri so you can provide your attendees with one place to go to connect. And the other thing you will not get is the event reporting that Aventri captures when you're using its own built-in system. There are 3 roles to be familiar with in the platform. One is the host role. I'm a host of this production. I'm a super user. I run the show, basically making sure everything runs smoothly. I can mute and unmute people. I can mark them as a presenter, and the presenter is the speaker or talent. They are able to run their own slideshows or post their own videos. And then there's the role of attendee. As I said, the host is the meeting organizer typically. You won't be listed on the agenda. You're more of the backstage crew. Every one of these roles are people who have to register for the event, and a host is required to start the meeting. The host must also assign the presenter during the course of the presentation. And typically, the host and the speakers come into the session before the show time, 15 minutes or more, to upload presentations, chat about any issues that have come up. But the host doesn't need access to the Aventri back end. You can make somebody a host and they simply come in the front door of the virtual lobby. In the presenter, he enters as a participant, or they enter as a participant, and then the host marks them as a presenter. Their name is listed on the agenda as the speaker. And again, they must register for the event. They can run their PDFs, they can share the videos, and again, there is a whiteboard that they can use. And then the attendee. Now, the privileges the attendees have are set by the event coordinator and the host on the Aventri backend before the event starts. attendee can join or leave a session at any time. They can mute or unmute themselves if they've been given microphone access. In meetings, they can share their webcam, and also in meetings, they can take part in the chat. So without further ado, let's see what this looks like.
We are going to start out by taking a look at the Aventri virtual platform. So right now, what we are looking at is what we call the login page. And this page, of course, is going to be able to have all of your own branding. You can highlight exhibitors or sponsors if you'd like to, or any other kind of welcome messages or call outs. At this stage, we would have already registered for the event, whether we're a host or an attendee. And the login credentials would then be provided to us either in a reminder email, confirmation email, something like that. So today I am going to be acting as the role of a host. A host is going to be the individual that can start sessions and can really control what individuals can do within the different session types. My colleague Matt is going to be logging in as an attendee today. So whenever you hear Matt speaking and showing his screen, that's going to be the view of an attendee. So we'll go ahead, we'll log in today. And we are now on what is called the My Agenda page. So the My Agenda page, because I'm logged in as a host, is going to show a hosting tab. So of course, this is going to be any session that I am a host for and have the ability to actually start. I am also going to have an attending tab though. So if I've signed up for actual sessions within the event that perhaps I'm not a host for, I would still have the ability to join these different sessions as an attendee. So I'll jump back here to the hosting tab. A couple cool call outs here. We've got a time zone button. Since nobody's going to be kind of all in one location with a virtual event, people may be spread across kind of the globe and have different time zones. So we've got a time zone for the event and then a time zone for local as well. So I can easily toggle between the two to make sure that, I'm not late to anything. And absolutely, we have a check your systems button. Check your system is going to be available for hosts and attendees as well. So individuals can make sure that everything is compatible. And then they can also start a meeting test. This meeting test is going to allow them to join audio. It's going to allow them to test sharing their screen and their webcam as well, just so that hosts, speakers, and attendees can all be prepped and ready to go and not experience any challenges when they're actually in a session. Now, another element within our virtual platform is going to be the virtual navigation bar. And this is always going to appear here on this left-hand side, assuming, of course, you've enabled it. So just to showcase some of the different modules we have, one of which is the inbox module or kind of notifications area. Notifications, you're going to be able to send out messages to individuals. You can pre-schedule these or send these on demand. These can be notices like, hey, welcome to the event. These could also be sponsor or exhibitor callouts as well. And in addition, you have the ability to control who receives these. So you could send a message perhaps to all hosts or all attendees, or everybody that signed up, say, for the cybersecurity tips class. So a variety of ways to interact here with, of course, your different attendees and hosts and speakers. Next is our attendees module. So this is a really great way to handle networking within the platform. So of course, assuming that these individuals have not opted out of being a part of this list, their name can then appear. The information that displays in this profile is going to be up to you and what questions you've asked during the registration form. So since I want to make networking something easy for my attendees to do, I've included email address, I've included a photo, I've asked for individuals' degrees, and then a handful of different social networking sites. Of course, what displays here again is up to you. Another important module is the sponsors module. This is going to allow you to list out exhibitors or sponsors based upon different category types. And when clicked into, of course, additional information can be shared. So just like that attendees module, you can include as much or as little information about these sponsors as you would like. Another one to call out here is going to be our activity feed. The activity feed is a private social wall specific to this event. So people are going to have the ability to come in. They can post images, post comments. They can even include their location if they want to. And then, of course, individuals can come in. They can like something. They can respond to something. And you can even make call outs to different polls that you have going on. Now, Matt, as an attendee, is going to be showing the Ask a Question module and the polling module in a bit, so that's why we've skipped those for now. And then kind of last but not least is, of course, this concept of a rotating banner ad down here at the bottom. And this can be set to display at various intervals. So perhaps Aviatos is going to display for 5 seconds, and say Pied Pipers is going to display for 20 seconds. And you would get to control that, of course. Now, this whole section is integrated completely with our mobile app. What this is going to allow for is not only the ability to run solely virtual events, so that people, of course, can interact with the event and with each other from this nav bar, but this will also help you guys to handle the eventual hybrid event scenario. So, as individuals are, say, posting comments to the activity feed from their mobile app while on site at the event, individuals that are interacting by the virtual nav bar at home or, say, their home office would be able to see all of the same content. So you're going to be able to create really as unified an experience as possible, regardless of where attendees are interacting with this event. Now, back over here on the My Agenda page, we have sort of 2 different presentation styles. We have what is called a presentation session, and that's what this session is here and what we're going to start out with today. Presentation, of course, is that one-way kind of delivery of content. Our collaborative sessions, however, are a bit more interactive and back and forth, where attendees can actually share their webcam, share their microphones, and interact a bit more with the whole audience and the speakers as well. So from here, we are going to go ahead and start a presentation session. Again, because we are a host, we're going to see a Start Session button allowing us to do this. We would, of course, have the ability to join the audio, but I'm not going to do that here today. And we are going to be presented with sort of 3 different areas of real estate. The first area is the presentation screen itself. This is where files or videos are going to be shared. This is where webcams will be displayed, or if individuals are sharing their desktop or kind of their computer screen, this is where that content would display as well. Now, we also have a chat area. In presentation mode, chat is only available for hosts and speakers. So that's an important distinction to make between the 2 different types. So when we actually move over and see Matt's screen as an attendee, you'll notice that he does not have this chat section. And then, of course, the area here for the virtual navigation bar as well. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize up these screens so that we can focus in on the presentation itself. Because we are a host, we have access to this Actions button. Attendees, of course, would not see this. I have the ability to share an external video if I would like, and of course then play it for my attendees. But I can also upload a presentation. So we can do this via drag and drop. And we would simply click Upload. So last but not least is also this Broadcast button. So right now our broadcast is offline, so we are not sharing any content with our attendees. I can, though, click in here. I can see how many viewers are currently logged in, and then I have the ability to launch the session. At this point, though, I am not going to go ahead and start this session. From here, we are going to pass it over to Matt to show the attendee side of things.
Looking at this from the attendee side, there are a few differences with what I'm seeing here. I do not have a hosting or attending tab. Instead, I only see the sessions that I was signed up for during registration. So I can now click to join the presentation. And now I see a waiting screen until Jill is ready to broadcast. Now that the presentation has begun, I'm able to see the content being shared, whether it's a video, a presentation, or a webcam. Although I don't have access to share my microphone or webcam, I can still interact with the session through a handful of tools in the navigation bar. The Ratings and Reviews module allows me to give a 1 to 5-star rating for the session, as well as provide a text review. These reviews can be made visible to other attendees or kept hidden for internal feedback. Within the Ask a Question module, I have the ability to ask questions during the presentation, other attendees will have the ability to upvote my question if they're interested in the same thing. Once Jill has responded to the question, I'll be able to see that answer as well. Within the polling module, I also have the ability to vote in polls and see those results live in the navigation bar. As other attendees respond, I'll also see those results posted. Once again, although I do not have the ability to share my microphone or my webcam, I still have the ability to interact with the event and with the session through the virtual navigation bar. I'll pass it back to Jill to show the host side once again.
Thank you, Matt. Now we are back on the host side of things. Because I am a host, I actually have the ability to come in and even answer the question that Matt had asked. So you'll see my view is a tad bit different here in the Ask a Question module. Once I've answered a question, it will be marked off, indicating that it has been answered. This is going to make it easier for me during a Q&A session to know what questions I have already addressed. At this point, now that our Q&A is done, I want to go ahead and end this session. So I can come up here to the Broadcast Live button. Again, it's going to show me the number of registrants that are part of this broadcast, and I now have the ability to stop this. When I end a session by coming up here and clicking End Meeting, I, as the host, am going to be brought back to the My Agenda page. Now that I've ended the broadcast, I am brought back immediately to the My Agenda page. Attendees will also be brought back to this page so they can easily navigate to the very next session. I am now going to go ahead and start a collaborative session. And I am going to go ahead and invite Matt to join the session at this time. Now that he's joined, we see him in the users list here. Now, with this section here, I have the ability to do a variety of things because I am the host. So, of course, I have the ability to chat and make private chats with other individuals as well, just as attendees would. But I have some additional features where I can make an individual a presenter if I needed to. I could promote them to moderator. And in this instance, I have all of my attendees locked, meaning they cannot share their audio or their webcams at this moment. But when I unlock this individual, they will now have the ability to share their webcams or their audio if they chose. I can also control participant permissions for everyone in mass. So if I want to prevent attendees from sharing their webcam, I could certainly just toggle that status off or on. If I want people to share or not share their microphones, again, I can toggle those options. I can make apply, and it will make a mass effect to all of the attendees that have logged in. Once again, I'm going to minimize all of these areas so that we can focus in on the presentation side. Once again, as a host, we can share an external video, or we can, again, upload a presentation. In this instance, I actually have the ability to allow the presentation to be downloaded by the attendees if I want. If I don't, I would just simply not uncheck that option. And then we will click upload. Now that my presentation is sharing, I'm deciding to go ahead and share my webcam. Because I have multiple webcams on my system, I am going to have the ability to select which webcam I would like to use. Not all individuals do have 2 webcams, so they wouldn't see that toggle option. Everybody, though, will have the ability to control the quality of their webcam. So if I'm on, say, a lower internet connection or slower internet connection, I may want to select low quality. Or I could certainly select a high definition video as well. But we'll stick today with the default of medium quality. And we will start sharing. Now I have the ability as the host to come in. I can make this full screen if I wanted to zoom in on a specific camera. I could also make the presentation full screen as well. In collaborative mode, attendees will actually have the ability themselves to control kind of which element they're focusing in on. I can also drag and drop the location. So if I want the webcam to perhaps appear at the bottom, I can simply drag and drop that. I also have an option here, as will attendees, to adjust to the sides. So I can really control the content that I'm seeing and that I'm interacting with. Again, I have whiteboard controls. So if I need to make a highlight or a call out to something, I can certainly do so. And I can also turn whiteboard controls on for attendees as well. This will now allow attendees to actually draw on the screen, given that I want them to. I will now pass this over to Matt, who's going to be able to show the collaborative session side of things for an attendee.
As an attendee in collaborative mode, I have a lot of capabilities at my disposal. I can still interact with the virtual navigation bar in collaborative mode, such as the Ask a Question, Ratings and Reviews, and more. In collaborative mode, I also have access to the chat functionality. I can interact with individuals in the public chat. And I can also select an attendee's name to start a private chat with them. I can also select my own name to set my status. So if the speaker wants to take the temperature of the room, she can ask for nonverbal feedback through the status option. I have the ability to set and clear my status. In collaborative mode, I also have the ability to use the whiteboard controls, including the undo and clear all functions. I also have a great deal of control over my own screen. I can close up the public chat and revert back to the navigation bar so that I can focus on the presentation area itself. I can also decide which webcam I'd like to focus in on, the placement of those webcams, or choose to make the presentation full screen. This collaborative format allows me as the attendee to truly interact with the speakers and the content being presented. I'll pass it back over to Jill to walk through some of the administrative features of the Aventri virtual platform.
Thank you, Matt. At this point, we are on the administrative side of the Aventri platform. This is where you have the ability to, of course, set up the event itself, but also control the virtual elements. The virtual tool can be set up either in private mode or public. Private is a great mode allowing not attendees, but allowing hosts and speakers to actually join sessions, practice, and try things out. Once you're ready for attendees to actually join, you can switch to public. Under this virtual tab is also where you'll be able to control the navigation bar. Once you've enabled the navigation bar, you will have the ability to turn on and off various modules. So in this instance, I have most of these modules enabled. If I want to come in and perhaps create a new poll, I can easily do so by clicking this edit icon. And I can click to add a new poll. I would give this a name, decide if this is a global poll or specific to a given session. I can ask my question and provide various options along with the specific colors that I want those results to display in. If I don't want to display those results to my attendees, I could certainly disable this option here and perhaps use this as administrative only feedback. Overall, most of the different modules are going to contain a similar look and feel when it comes to actually building things out. One of the other main elements of this system is going to be recordings. You're going to be able to see all of the different sessions that you have recorded, and you can choose to make them visible on the My Agenda page as well, should you want to. Everything can also be downloaded. From here, we're going to jump to our virtual event dashboard. I have different filter options available to me so that I can decide what data I actually want to focus in on. I've now decided to show all of my different sessions. I can see if sessions have already ended, or I will have access to a force start button. So in the rare scenario where a host perhaps is having internet issues, the power is out, and they're not able to actually start the session, you will have the ability to do so from the administrative side. From here, I'm also going to be able to see the total number of registrants that have signed up for any given session. And then I'm going to be able to focus in on my actual conversion rate. So how many registered to how many actually attended the session. And I can see here that that number is 18. If I want to view specifically in on given attendees, I can click to view the full attendance report. If I need to see what Paula has done at my event, I can open this up. Every column of data will be controllable. So if I don't want to see, say, the date or the start time of the session, I could certainly exclude those as columns. And from here, I can see that she did not attend the closing keynote or the general session, but she did attend the opening keynote, although we can see here that she only spent about 4 minutes in this session. If we want, we can also view data by the session itself. We'll have access to a graph here up at the top that we can expand. This is going to show us our most popular sessions. In blue is going to highlight how many have registered for a session. In purple, we're going to see how many have actually attended virtually. And if your event is hybrid or on-site only, you would actually see a third color for individuals that have checked in on-site. So whether your event is virtual, hybrid, or in-person only, this can really act as your control center. The ability to easily see all of your different sessions, their popularity, and even some information like registrant conversion. But now as I scroll down here, I could jump into a specific session here. And just like before, I'm able to control the different columns of data being displayed. And I can now get an understanding of the success of my session. How long did people actually attend? And if for some reason, like in this instance here, Harold only spent 5 minutes, I may choose to then adjust his attendee record to mark him as not attended. This way, all of your data is going to be accurate and allow you to make decisions moving forward. So I want to thank you for your time watching the presentation here today about the attendee and host and speaker views within our virtual platform. And now we will open it up for live Q&A. Thank you.
Okay, and so that is the Aventri virtual platform. Okay, so we've showed you all this stuff Steve, when can we get our hands on it? So the way we're going to implement this at ASU, and first of all, I see we're going over time. We're going to wrap this up, and then we're going to move over to the meeting session for the Q&A. But just to wrap up the virtual platform, so we can start using the virtual platform for any ASU events occurring between December 1st and August 1st of next year. We're going to treat this like we do mobile app development because of system issues or concerns and account issues. You will be working with Laura and I, the Aventri account admins, to help you set up your events to use for the virtual platform. We will train you on how to be a host. We will train you on how to be a presenter. We can also set up time with your presenters to show them the system. So the first step to get this going is to contact us either by email, aventri@asu.edu, to set up a time. If you just want more information, that's fine. If you're already sold on the system and you just want to move forward, that's fine too. And if you want to, you can start creating your registration site for this event. The virtual platform can just be activated on any event registration site. Let's see, is there anything else you might want to know? Oh, you might want to know if there's any cost, or what would the cost be? There will be no cost to our users for using this platform between December 1st and August 1st. This is the end of our contract, and ASU will be paying for the system so that we can get an idea of how this will be used and who wants to use it and get some feedback. So this is sort of a pilot period for using the Aventri virtual platform. And with that, I'm going to end the presentation here. So I'm basically going to kick you all out, and we're all going to meet up in the next session, the meeting session for our Q&A. Thanks for coming. If you, just to wrap up, some people have asked, is this being recorded? Yes, it is being recorded. So will the meeting session be recorded. And there are going to be two different ways for you to view these videos. You'll be able to come back to the virtual platform lobby, and instead of seeing a join link, you will see play video link. And we will also post these videos to the webinars page on the University Events Protocol website. So I'm ending this session, and we'll see you in the meeting.
Hi everyone, this is Steve from University Events and Protocol. When we started our Aventri meeting for the Q&A, we neglected to hit the start button at the beginning. So we missed a few questions from the recording, and I just wanted to go through those and provide them now, and then we will join the recorded meeting so you can see what that looks like. The first question we dealt with is, how do you delete test registrations? To delete test registrations, these are registrations that when you look in the registrant list, they have the word test in front of them. Typically, you will see that when you are in pre-event and adding people to make sure that your system works. Best practice is before you go live to go to reports and functions, and then under special reports, you will find this clear test registrations feature. If you click on that, Aventri will erase all of the registrations marked as test. You may also find it helpful to clear the incomplete registrations, and there's another feature right below that you can click that will delete all incomplete registrations. It's a best practice to use those features before. It's a best practice to use those features before you go live, but yes, you can use them after you've gone offline to. But yes, you can use them after you have gone live to clear test registrations. Is there a way to integrate with DocuSign? The recommended way to use DocuSign with Aventri is to use a DocuSign Power Form. And the way that works is you have your ASU DocuSign account, you create your web form and save it as a PDF with all the fillable fields, and then you ask UTO to turn it in, and you save that to your DocuSign account, and then you ask UTO to turn that into a Power Form. Once it's been turned into a Power Form, you can do a couple different things with it. You can just send a link to that form to anyone, say in an email, or post it on a website. But in Aventri, what you can do is a way to import that form into the registration site. It would appear after the registration complete page. It wouldn't be in the middle of the registration process, and actually you really would want to do that because Aventri has a 30-minute limit to how long you can sit in a registration, and sometimes these forms take people longer to fill out, so they might end time and end up with an incomplete registration. So that's the recommended way of using DocuSign Docs in Aventri, and you can read more about how to set that up on our support site at aventri.asu.edu, and just search for the Using DocuSign with Aventri webpage. How do you add to calendar button on the registration confirmation email? You do that with a merge code. You can open up your merge code, go into the HTML editor, and wherever you want this calendar to appear, just type in */calendar/**, or you can search the various ways of finding merge codes, either clicking the View Merge Codes field, which opens up a pop-up browser window, and you can search for it there and copy it, and then go into your HTML editor and paste it there. Or you can use that merge codes button, which is in the HTML editor, and just look for it under third-party software integrations and click for the calendar link. Can Aventri use ASU IDs to check the registrants are ASU employees through PeopleSoft? I've not gotten any reports from the people who were working on that they're working on it, or that there's been any progress on that. I know the use case is really for checking people in at an event to make sure they're employees, but really you have to determine who can get into your registration before they register. Our best alternative to do that is to use the pre-approved data feature in Aventri. On the pre-approved data page, you would upload the email addresses of people you are authorizing to register. The best alternative we have to offer for that is to use the pre-approved data feature in Aventri. Under pre-approved data, you would upload a list of email addresses to either all categories or a specific category, and only people who enter that email address would be allowed to register for the event in the first place. If you're doing this for ASU people, what I recommend doing is uploading email addresses as people's ASU Right ID at asu.edu, and then write that information on for the new registration page, either in a header or as an attendee info question, so you can provide the info that that's what you want. Do I need an account to use Aventri? Well, it depends what you mean by use the account. If you want to create registration sites, you want to use Aventri to send out email campaigns, you want to use Aventri to create and send and collect information from surveys, yes, you would need an account in Aventri. If you are just registering for events, if you need to view reports, you can do that with the cooperation of the event coordinator, who can create shared reports that you can see over a web page or be automatically sent like a spreadsheet or a PDF. And you do not need an account to be a host or a presenter in the new virtual environment. Can we implement Google Tags on Aventri and get web analytics? Yes, we can. You can add a tracking pixel code to either a registration site or a website in Aventri. There are a couple of different ways to do this. This does have to be done in every event registration. There's no way to do this on the account level, just per registration. The basic two ways of doing it is there is a Google Analytics tab in event registration that gives you some instructions on how to add it there, or depending on what your needs are, you may need to add.
And that is putting some code into what's called the head of a website. And there are a couple of ways to do it. Don't panic. That support doc walks you through how to do that. One note about that is if you put that code into the head tag, that will clone with the event. I'm not sure if you use the Aventri Analytics tab and program that to work for your registration, if that also clones. I've not used that feature. So that's how that works.
The question of can we schedule one-on-ones with you or get training for our team? Yes, several ways to do that. You can send an email to aventri@asu.edu, or you can PM us on Slack. We're happy to set up those sorts of things either during office hours, which are on Thursdays from 1 to 4, or we can set up meetings for other dates and times. Aventri support also offers webinars, and there's links to that on the asu.edu, the aventri.asu.edu site that we've developed as well, so that you can easily find those links to find webinars on almost any subject you can think of. Those webinars are rather complete and interactive with a live trainer.
Right. Okay. So I think now we're going to open it up to all your questions. And again, to make this interactive, I am going to turn off the meeting mute, and you can talk to us, or if you would like to use the chat feature, I see some questions coming in over the chat feature. You can just write them down, and this is our time to answer your questions. In fact, I'll just pick the first one that pops up here. Denise is asking, how do I delete a registration? The option delete only appears on some registrations. Actually, you don't have the option to delete a registration in Aventri. You have only the option to cancel. The only thing you can delete is an incomplete registration. So if they've not finished the registration process, you can delete that registration. But as far as once they have successfully submitted a registration to your event, you cannot delete them. You can only cancel. That's a feature, not a bug. The idea is that if suppose that person comes back and say, I'm coming after all, you can go back into their registration and just reactivate them as a confirmed registration rather than a cancellation. Laura, is there one there you want to take?
Let's see. There was a really good question about the host turning on captions, Steve, and I'm not sure, I don't remember if that's possible.
Yeah, I'm not remembering that either. So I'm going to write that down and ask that question to support.
Okay.
One thing about this virtual platform, folks, let's remember that this wasn't even on Aventri's radar until March, and they developed this over 6 to 7 months. And so this is, I've told them this is the version 1. They said, no, this is more like version 2, but it's constantly under development. So they are aware that there are additional features that they want to add and that users want to add them. So I'm sure we'll be hearing more about things like that. One thing I already know is, as I said during presentation mode, the limit is 5,000 people. They've already told us very soon that's going to be doubled to 10,000 people in a presentation. So looking at their support information, they've said this is for small to mid-sized virtual events and hybrid events. So I know they're developing those things, but I will ask our Aventri support people what they're going to be doing about captions.
And Catalina asks an interesting question. How do security features compare to Zoom? Catalina, we ran this through UTO security, just like we do all big new platform moves, and they've approved it for us to use. So we are UTO approved. I can also tell you that security obviously is part platform and part us. So just like with Zoom, you don't want to get your links out too early, and you want to make sure that you get them to the right people.
Well, actually, this is a major difference between Zoom and the Aventri virtual platform is that everyone has to register for the event. So you're sending a link out to access to the virtual lobby. And if they have not registered for the event, they can't come in. So, I mean, that's sort of the first level of security. You'll know whose people are. Second level of security. So nobody you don't know can come in and like Zoom bomb you. As I said, when you're in presentation mode, you have a lot of control over what people see. You're just doing the presentation. The attendees really can't do much. Here in meeting mode, they could be a bit more mischief, but only if we let you. And we've got the training wheels on this one, folks. So this is our first Aventri presentation on this platform, and we wanted to make it a little easier on ourselves as well. But I hope that answers your question.
Nancy, you asked if I have an outside presenter who is not familiar with Aventri, can we test run our session in advance to make sure he or she is familiar with the functionality? The answer is yes. If you make them a presenter, you can send them the link to get in and practice early so that you can run through all the features, show them what they're doing, show them how to do it. There's also a presenter training that is available from Aventri, but we are still working on how that's going to work for ASU. So we're like you, we still have questions as well.
Laura and Steve, if I can just jump in here, we had a question from Sharon asking if the expectation is that units or departments start using this platform and move away from Zoom. If you can just speak to that for a moment.
Sure. Actually, that's a great question. And first of all, we can't control anything that you guys do at ASU. I would say you should learn the capabilities of this platform and compare them to Zoom, and then you choose what you think is the best one for your uses. Now, like I said, you can use Zoom links inside of Aventri if you prefer to use that platform because you're familiar with it. That's fine. What you're getting is, number one, you're in your event registration for the event, so you can communicate what you need to those attendees. Two, if you have multiple Zoom meetings, Zoom sessions, you'll have the virtual lobby, so you have all those links to that to those different meetings in one place. You don't have to develop your own website. You can do that in Aventri that's provided to you. But think about the capabilities of Aventri as far as reporting. If you use the Aventri built-in session, as you saw, you get lots of amazing reporting on attendance is taken automatically. How long did people stay into the session? Where did they go? Who are those people? And as I said, I look at this platform like it's really you choose between holding a webinar or a meeting. When you're in Zoom, you're just doing the meetings unless you have made special arrangements to use the webinar license. Here you have a choice, and it's just choice at the session level. So I think what I've seen is if you're going to do a lot of sessions, you're going to do a real conference type event, I think Aventri is going to save you time and trouble because it's all in one place and it's just a flick of a button to turn things on versus having to go into Zoom and you have to create lots of different Zoom rooms manually. You may have to have different members of your staff make different Zoom meetings so they can be the host inside. That you can decide when that's too burdensome and that this system would be a better choice. Oh, these are lots of great questions. LJ, I think I'm going to answer your question offline too. Let's see. Courtney, is there a way to ensure email entries are ASU emails? There are a couple different ways to do that. Back on that feature of preloading, you can also restrict who can register for the event based on a domain. So if you wanted to make it asu.edu and they have to use their asu.edu email address, that's the best way to limit that registration. And there could be others. If you want to PM us on Slack or set up a time for an office hour, we could chat in more depth. Emma, I don't know. That's a great question. Is there a way for the users, attendees, to update their profiles in the virtual platform? I don't know. That's a great question. I will ask Aventri support. I'm reading here, guys. That's why there's silence.
Yeah, me too.
The HTML editor can be turned on for existing events. Yes. Can we use the new templates on an existing event? Or do we need to create a new event to access the templates? No, you can, in Theme Editor, you absolutely can access the new templates. What you would need to do in an old event using the old templates, and I believe the video did go through that. If I didn't, I will make one and put it on the support site. Back on that advanced features tab, there is a button to turn on Theme Editor. You turn that on. There are a couple of steps you need to take. You need to turn off the global footer. You need to delete some code that exists in the old template, but it's very easy. And then you can select from one of our themes, and you're all set to go in changing that existing event into a theme editor event. Oh, also, Nancy, as I'm reading these questions linearly, you can have your presenters get into an event, Aventri event anytime for rehearsal. There's, as you saw during the last video, you have basically a private mode and a public mode, and you can use private mode and schedule time with your presenter so you can actually do a run through before the event. Okay, hearing some performance issues. Does the meeting platform have breakout sessions? Yes, Daryl. Well, this is it. This is what a breakout session would be like. So we started with the presentation session where it's just giving people information, and now we are basically in a breakout session. And this is created in the event registration. We could choose to do it like any session. We could do it as, we just created these as headings, no input. We could have used the checkbox single feature. We could have used the checkbox multi-feature. And actually, if you do offer folks the need to choose a session as a visitor or an attendee, when they arrive, they will only see the sessions that they have selected. So I think that answers your question. Did you make a video? Yes, absolutely. A lot of these videos will start showing up on us as our how-to videos. The Darrow asking about the alt text shortcut and how to use that for the new HTML editor. We will definitely add a how-to tutorial on the new content editor and add it to our website. And okay, I think we're caught up.
Brittany, did we have any other questions that we needed to hit from the last session?
You pretty much covered them. I did snip one, but it was already asked again about the Zoom, or about the security of this platform versus Zoom.
Cool.
So we're pretty good there. We do have 2 minutes, just so we are, keeping everyone or being aware of everyone's time. A couple others came through if you want to address those quickly, and then we'll wrap up.
I see that, and I see them. So the first, for Emma, for your question about Zoom, would those links still show up where it typically says join meeting? And that's exactly how it works. In fact, when you go back to the virtual lobby, I actually created one of those sessions. So when you go back to the virtual lobby, you will see what the 3 different modes looks like, what the presentation mode looks like, what the meeting mode looks like, and what that third party, what they call external technology, looks like. And it looks very similar. The image icons are slightly different, but the buttons are the same. And the only thing that's going to happen functionally when you use a Zoom link instead of Aventri is that when you click the join link, it's going to send you to the typical browser for Zoom. And do you want to join this meeting? And then open it up either in the browser, the Zoom browser, or into the Zoom app. So again, it's just one place where you can put all those links. If we host a camp over this platform with breakouts, can we still link to 130? Yeah, you can do a mix of things, folks. You don't have to do all one or the other. It can be a mix of presentations, breakout session meetings, Zoom links. You can also upload pre-recorded videos if you like. So really is a very flexible platform. Yeah, Shante, I would suggest that we set up a time to convert any existing templates to convert whatever you want to convert to. I would suggest we set up a time. Just send us a PM on Slack or an email.
Okay, it is 11:30, so we are going to halt questions for now. I do want to thank everybody that joined us in the presentation and everybody that was able to come over to this meeting. Steve and Laura, great job. Thank you so much for taking us through this new Aventri experience. And we hope that we see everyone at our next session. Have a great day.
Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
And we'll review all these questions you posted to the Ask a Question. If we notice we didn't answer one during this session, we will contact you directly with that answer. Okay.
Perfect.
So thanks for coming, everyone. Have a nice day.